a lot of people come to my channel and misunderstand what I'm all about. A lot of people had this false perception that I was somehow pro AJ. I've never been pro AJ. I'm a boxing fan who likes to give credit where it's due. But in the eyes of a lot of bias, Wilder and Fury fans, etc., anybody giving AJ the credit that he's due is an AJ fan. Pro AJ. No, you're just giving credit where it's due. Anthony Joshua became unified champion and beat some top names in only 22 fights. He deserves credit for that. For what he achieved in such a short space of time and the names he beat. And my battle over the past year or so has been with the Fury and Wilder fans who refuse to give him that credit and concoct every absurd excuse in the book to justify their actions. They flat out refuse to give credit where it's due. They try and discredit him. They go to great lengths to do so. So I've been going back and forth with people who just won't give the man the credit that he's deserved. You know, and that's all it's ever been. In the minds of those people, as I say, giving AJ credit means that you're a casual or a fanboy, or in my case, a Matchroom employee. This is how insane these people are. They're accusing me of being a Matchroom employee. You know, most Fury fans think that Tyson Fury is the best thing since sliced bread, and that Wilder and Joshua are trash, garbage. That's the attitude that most Fury fans have. Same goes for most Wilder fans. And the same goes for a lot of AJ fans too. They believe their fighter can walk on water and his main rivals are rubbish. This is the attitude of most boxing fans, whereas I have always been of the opinion that they're all good. That Wilder's good, Fury's good, AJ's good, Andy Ruiz is good. That's the opinion I've always had. That's the opinion I've always expressed in my videos, that they're all good. The vast majority of my criticism of Fury and Wilder has been because of things they've said and done outside the ring, not in it. I've always rated both of them highly for years as fighters. As I say, my battle has just been with these extremely biased fanboys not giving Anthony Joshua the credit you should have been giving him if you were fair. That's all it's about. It's about being fair. And most boxing fans are incapable, it would seem, of being fair with regards to their favorite fighters and their favorite fighters' rivals. You know, a lot of people, as I say, got the wrong end of the stick. They thought I was an AJ diehard, including many of the AJ diehards themselves. And now they're confused by the position I've taken post Andy Ruiz. They can't wrap their heads around it. One guy in my Facebook boxing group the other day said, "You've lost your way since AJ lost in an attempt to be impartial." The reality is, he just misunderstood what I was about to begin with. I mean, I remember when David Haye was WBA heavyweight champion and he was milking his belt and claiming that the Klitschko's were ducking him. I mean, he even claimed prior to the Audley Harrison fight that the reason that he was fighting Audley is because the public wanted to see that fight more than they wanted to see the Klitschko fight. And during that time, you know, long-time subscribers will remember, during that time I was highly critical of David Haye. I was calling him out on all this BS in my videos. And subsequently, I earned a reputation as being a quote-unquote David Haye hater for speaking the flipping truth. People were concocting all kinds of myths about me, like David Haye stole my girlfriend, or David Haye, you know, knocked me out in sparring, or, you know, all kinds of crazy myths people were concocting because they couldn't wrap their head around why I was, you know, being so critical of David Haye. They didn't stop to think for a second that maybe what I was saying was actually true. that David Haye was milking his world title for a couple years, claiming the Klitschko's were ducking him when it was actually him who was delaying that fight when he had an opportunity to fight Vitaly Klitschko previously, but he pulled out and then fought Nikolai Valoev instead, the easier option. I was just calling him out on the things he was doing, and I was getting labeled a David Haye hater because of this, because David Haye was like the pride of Britain at the time. The reality is I've never been a David Haye hater. David Haye has never knocked me out in sparring. I've never sparred David Haye. Right? David Haye has never taken one of my girlfriends. My girlfriends have all been black. David Haye don't like black girls. No issue with David Haye, right? In fact, I like David Haye as a fighter. I'll go even further than that. I miss David Haye as a fighter. How about that? Irrespective of how much I like David Haye as a fighter and as a character, I thought he was a fun character. I'm not going to sit back and let a man come out of his mouth with pure lies and say nothing about it. I'm going to say something about it. And that's why I was so critical of David Haye during that period, because the man was coming out his mouth with pure lies. Now, obviously now people are going to look and say, yeah, but everyone knows David Haye tells lies and talks rubbish a lot of the time, at least when he was fighting. Well, back then, the public hadn't really cottoned onto it. Some of the public had, but a lot hadn't. And David Haye was spewing out all kinds of rubbish, and the majority of his audience believed it. So when they had somebody like me on YouTube criticizing him, oh, you're a hater, you're this, that, and the other. And down the line, when I was giving David Haye credit for certain fights and what have you, they were saying, oh, why have you jumped on the Haye bandwagon now? What's wrong with you? They just can't grasp the concept of objectivity. That in my book and on this channel, no fighter is below praise and no fighter is above criticism. That's it. It's very simple, but some people just cannot grasp it. They want to put a label on me. You're a David Haye hater. You're an AJ fan. You're a Matchroom employee. You're a Fury hater. You're a Wilder hater. When Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko, go watch my video, my post-fight video, and tell me if that sounds like a Tyson Fury hater. When Deontay Wilder beat Dominic Breazeale the other week, go watch my video and tell me if that sounds like a Deontay Wilder hater. Or when Wilder beat Berman Stavern. Or for any of Wilder's defenses, go listen to what I said in those videos and tell me if that sounds like a Deontay Wilder hater. Never been a hater. I just tell it as it is. Yeah? AJ has always been a guy who is very conservative with the things that he says. He's very measured and, doesn't like to say anything too outlandish. And when you've got somebody like that, there's not really much to criticize in terms of what he says. But with Wilder and Fury, they've both got potty mouths. They're both constantly trash talking. Fury's constantly contradicting himself. So they give you a lot to criticize. Yeah? But I've mainly been critical of them outside the ring rather than inside the ring. Mainly. Yeah, I've been critical to some degree of them inside the ring, but I've been critical to some degree of AJ inside the ring too. Much to the bemusement of a lot of AJ's fans. For several of his title defenses, I was saying, I'm still not convinced by AJ's stamina. For the Takam fight, I said that was a bit of a dodgy stoppage. AJ still looks a little robotic. I was saying these things in post-fight videos and, preview videos for several of his title defenses. So that's all it's about. But a lot of people just can't wrap their heads around somebody having that kind of mentality, because most boxing fans, certainly most Wilder, Fury and AJ fans, are biased. So when they see somebody being objective, it doesn't compute. They blow a circuit in their minds and they just can't wrap their heads around it. Take things out of context. Oh, they see me giving one guy credit. Oh, you must be a fan of his then. You must be a diehard. You must be pro-Asia. You must be pro-Wilder. I remember there was a guy in my Facebook boxing group. He knows who he is. Shout out to him. And for years, he was telling me that Deontay Wilder was trash. And he was tagging me in posts and telling me, I don't know what you're seeing, fam. This guy's garbage. He can't fight. He's rubbish. He's trash. And I was constantly, and he basically built up this idea in his head that I was somehow some big Deontay Wilder fanboy. You know, this is what he built up in his head for years. And he was constantly picking Deontay Wilder to lose if he stepped up and saying he was rubbish and trash and can't box. Oh, his technique is awful. He was just obsessively criticizing Deontay Wilder. But I never was a Deontay Wilder fanboy. I never was pro Deontay Wilder. Do I like him as a fighter? Hell yes. But am I going to sit, you know, I just recognized, and I was always, you know, responding to this guy by saying, look, you're focusing in on all of Wilder's weaknesses, which we can see he has. But so you're doing it to the point where you're underestimating his strengths. And eventually when he beat Ortiz, you know, the guy admitted, okay, I did underestimate his strengths. I was a bit wrong, and I got to give him credit for what he did against Ortiz. And you'll hear that kind of sentiment from me in the Ortiz post-fight video where I was saying, see, Wilder proved a lot of people wrong and, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Because people just would not take Deontay Wilder seriously. I've always taken him seriously. You know, and as I say, just being fair and telling it as it is. At least one individual labeled me a Deontay Wilder fanboy, or, you know, insinuated that I was some kind of fanboy for telling it as it is, because I could see the guy was actually good. That despite his technical flaws, his strengths definitely made up for it and then some. So it's just about being fair, giving credit where it's due, and also giving criticism where it's due too. And sorry to labor the point, but Fury and Wilder, the stuff that they say, the decisions they make outside the ring, I mean, it warrants criticism. So, anyway, just another video on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Sam and I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.